Hello everyone, thank you again for joining me for part 2 of my stealth camper van update. So hiding over here in the corner back here out of the way is where I keep this folding chair. I find convenience trumps everything, so I find myself ending up using this chair most often because it's the easiest to get to and get out. Here's a view out my back door. So of course in this cabinet I have my propane tank, and what I did to isolate my propane tank is I put it in one of those trash compactor bags, got it sealed up in here, and what I've done is I actually have a air hose for air inlet connected to the top side of my trash compactor bag, and down at the bottom I have another hose for gas escape. That way if my propane tank ever did spring a leak, it's just gonna seep out on to the ground. It's not gonna come in and flood the cab and gas me. And down here, this is of course where I keep my bed, and it's all nice and stowed away. Over here, of course, I have the closet that also makes into the bathroom door. I have a smoke detector right here. Down here, have fire extinguisher. Have 12 volt power supply. That's running my 12 volt fan that I have up there. I installed these two lights here. You can either have one on or you can have them both on. You're just laying in bed wanting to do some reading or something. And this is where my antenna to my TV set is hooked up, and I have these outlets also wired into my inverter so that I have power. Down here what I have is it's a carbon monoxide and explosive gas detector. That's extra added protection so that I don't have to worry about ever being gassed to death in my sleep. Hook these on. These are my screen door. And there are those as seen on TV things. And I ran this wire up here, and they just magnetize together, and you can just sit here and chill and not have to worry about any bugs. This is actually my favorite place to sit. All I do is I just lean this seat forward as far as it'll go, and then I can just lean back and relax here and just sit here and chill. And got beautiful views, nice breeze. This is the best seat in the house, I think. So in this cabinet here, keep an extra blanket right here and pillowcase. But what I have in here, I don't know if you can see this, I have a collapsible water jug in here, and I also have a couple of bench press weights sitting on top of it. And what that does is forces pressure into the line and gives me water pressure coming out here. Everything's gravity fed in here. I don't have any pumps pumping any water except for my shower that I'll show you a little bit later whenever I go to use the shower. I have a couple of different ways to do that. From this side of the van, you can see how I have this hooked up. I have it all sitting in this tray here, and the water line is connected right there to that faucet that I have plumbed into my water reservoir. It's a 5-gallon collapsible tank, and it's set inside this tray here. And what this tray does is acts as backup if the thing was to spring a leak. It's just going to drain down through this drain, which runs down into my drain and out onto the ground. So if it sprang a leak, it's not going to flood the cab or come down and flood my electrical system or anything. Have my 12-volt cooler here, and this thing here, let me see if I can get it to work. I got to shut all the doors. Has to be pretty dark. It's got a light sensor on it. When you open it up, it illuminates the inside of my cooler there. What I have here, this is my ice. I actually use these 1/2-gallon jugs that I washed out, and I rotate them in my freezer in the house, and that keeps everything cool. I put them on the top shelf. Of course, cold air goes down, and so it keeps everything, my pop and water, cool. And if I have any food that I want to keep cool. And what this is, you're gonna laugh when you find out what this originally was designed for. They actually designed these to go in toilets. So if you have little tykes in the middle of the night that can't seem to see to hit the inside of the toilet, you can illuminate the inside of your toilet. And saw that, I said, now that would be awesome inside my cooler, and it worked out great. For privacy, for my blackout curtains, what I did is I got one of those expandable shower curtain rods and just stuck it in here and cinched it down as tight as I could. And I got this blackout curtain that I bought at Walmart. I originally had it designed, I was hooking it and snapping it to this, and it was just too inconvenient. This makes it real easy just for me to pull it, and it has a little snap, just snap it in place. And you have to be looking really hard to see any light at night coming up out of this space here. And show you another feature that I have. My backup camera that I showed you earlier. This is the monitor, and what I did with the cord, I made it so that you can actually put it at night, put it over that bar, and I have a secondary magnet right here that I stick it to, so that at night, whenever I have my blackout curtain up, I can lay here in bed and see what's going on outside. There we go. See out the back there. Now over the driver's area here, it did just have a shelf here. It was nothing but a shelf, and I built this whole face here to enclose it, and that gives me extra storage in there. Also installed my CB right here, and this switch over here turns my backup camera on or off, and usually when I'm driving I just leave it on, and it acts as a rear view mirror as I'm going down the highway. Over here I installed this switch, and what it does is turns on what I call my deer lights out front, and it's illuminated so I know in here when it's on or off. Also installed extra 12-volt power ports down here. Got 3 of them besides this one. Another thing I do is I have this magnet here. I have in the back of my phone a metal plate that my phone just sits right here on the dash. I actually use my phone. I have a program that I got off the market that's called background camera, and so I can use my phone for other things while it's also recording what's going on the road. So I actually use my phone as a dash cam. Also, we'll have an app that's called Waze, which is a GPS app, and so all that is, I have this headphone jack that I plug in, and it plugs into my stereo, and so I can make calls, listen to music on my phone, hear directions, and also video record while I'm driving, all at the same time. I also have hanging up here these plastic drawers. A lot of van dwellers have these, and I purchased them at Walmart, and I just keep clothes and what have you up in there. What I did though is a little bit different from what normally people do. Is you can see I have this shelf bracket holding it up. I got the whole thing screwed in, and then the shelf bracket, and what that allows is clearance for my seat. I can be sitting in my driver's seat, and still it reclines all the way back, how it was designed. It doesn't interfere at all. I broke them apart and put the third one down below here, and this has kind of become my junk drawer and VR headset. If I'm out somewhere and get reined in for a while and get claustrophobia, I can use virtual reality and be on the beach somewhere. just messing with you. But yeah, it works out pretty good. This here is my folding table. I can set it up in here and have a table to eat off of if I want, or can set it outside with my chair and just relax outside. One thing I did for my flooring is I just bought this piece of carpet and cut it out perfectly to fit, and it's not fastened down or anything. What that allows me to do is I can, if I'm going to have something back here that might make a mess, I can just roll it up. And then I also, on top of that, put this runner carpet, because I found that you do get a lot of high traffic back here. It's your main space, and runner carpet, I can just I'll just open up my back doors, and I will drape it over across one. Just have this brush here that I use to just brush it off and put it back. Makes clean up back here a breeze. Also, I keep a set of tools underneath the driver's seat right there. You never know when you might need to work on something. This is my trash bin. It's not very big at all, and I found, rather than using those big ginormous things that take up a lot of space and what I call pack ratting your trash, why not just have a small one like this that's easy to grab, and I just grab it, and every time I fuel up, I just empty it out at the gas station. Also, something that I would advise everyone who is living in a van or sleeping in a van for extended periods of time is right back there. You see I have in plain view a first aid kit, and that's something that I think is really important if you're going to be staying in a van. You want to be able to, you never know when an accident might happen. You cut yourself or something, you need to, you burn yourself, you need to treat yourself right away before you can get it looked at by a doctor. You got everything you need right there. So I guess last but not least, you're wondering how in the world would a person shower in a van like this? I mean, how do you take a shower? So let's look at that. First thing that I have hiding under my roll-away carpet here is this piece of linoleum. And slide it out, and it goes on the ground right in here. Next, in this drawer, I have this device. Also in this cabinet, I have a couple of things. I have this hose here, and I also have this device. So what I actually have is I have two ways that a person could take a shower in this van. And hiding behind my lounge chair in this closet, I have one of these things. So the noisy but more efficient way to shower here is I take this device here and I replace my check valve with this. Screwed on hand tight pretty good. Take the cap off. Next, if you notice, I have this little miniature air compressor hanging here next to my first aid kit. And it plugs in. I have another 12-volt receptacle right here. So I hook my compressor up to that valve stem and just plug it in. Then I take this hose here, hook it up to this line here, and should be able to hi. And I have water for a shower. So my second method for showering is just get yourself an average garden weed sprayer, and make sure, of course, it's never been used for weed poison. This one's brand new. It's never been used, had anything in it but water. And you just, of course, you give it a few pumps. Now, of course, to take a nice warm shower, I would heat half of this up in my tea kettle and pour it in here, with the other half being cold water. Now, something about these that you should know that they really don't tell you is, you see how I left a lot of air in here? They work best when, whoops, and there you go, got a shower. Work best and last longer, I mean, between pumps, when it's not totally full. Privacy, of course, has this little pop-up tent, shower tent, that I bought online for like 20 bucks. And as you see, it fits right between my doors here, so I can have all my clothes and towels and soap and everything handy right there, and I just undress and bathe. And the reason I have that linoleum piece on the ground, of course, is so I can stand there in my bare feet and don't get dirt and mud and all that on my feet. And do my shower, get dried off, get dressed,